Victor Kipiani. He's the chair of the Tbilisi-based think tank Geocase and is joining us live from the city. Mr. Kipiani, good to have you with us here on TRT World. Let's first pick up with the situation between Moscow and Prague. What are we seeing here? Why do you think the Czechs have come out with this evidence of the explosion at that arms depot now?
Thank you for having me. Indeed, we're witnessing a very major diplomatic spat, and that diplomatic spat, as you noted, have resulted into tit-for-tat expulsions both by Moscow and Prague. This conflict, this standoff could be viewed in the context of Czech and Russian republics and Czech and Russian relationships, and frankly, these are very serious accusations which do require high standards of proof. We're already witnessing various, I would not say speculations, but statements by Czech politicians who are going back to even making the parallels with the Soviet intervention back in 1968. So this is quite a sort of, a drastic diplomatic and political move by Prague. But we're also should be very much cognizant that this is not just about bilateral the relationships between the Czech Republic and Russian Federation. We're sort of witnessing the new normals in international relationships when the diplomacy is engulfed into the sanctions war. We recently saw a whole string of sanctions by the United States, which has been responded by Russia in its turn. So you mentioned that the EU foreign ministers are discussing how to respond to the allegedly Russian engagement with the blasts in the territory of the Czech Republic. So definitely, as I'm saying, the world is getting very close to very unbalanced and perilous standstill in diplomacy. Well, I'm not sure that always an effective toolkit is in place, and always I'm not confident that any type of such challenges could be dealt with by effective recipe in political or diplomatic relationships.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm wondering, Mr. Kipiani, if you think that what we're seeing here is the sort of the limits that sanctions can have an effect on a country like Russia, being, of course, in Tbilisi and Georgia. You'll have knowledge of what happens when diplomacy breaks down and arms are used instead. Are we seeing perhaps the end, the limit of what sanctions can actually do to affect the government in Moscow?
Yeah, I fully agree with you and completely share your view. That's what we're saying in Georgia and Ukraine, that Russians sort of, worked out quite enough level of immunity, if you will, to various type of sanctions, which we've been witnessing since the occupation of Georgia and since annexation of Crimea. So, but nevertheless, we've not seen that the right has been wrong, the wrong has been righted, and this is indeed, the biggest issue which the West has to focus on. In terms of the hybrid war, which becomes the well-known tactics of the Russian Federation and sort of established practices, not just in the countries of the former Soviet Union, but this time beyond it. And we saw similar accidents or incidents, I would say, in the United Kingdom, in Germany. Now we're witnessing, allegedly the same fact in the Czech Republic. This is the biggest question to the West, those concerns have been also reflected in the very recent annual report by CIA. How those new challenges would be dealt with as effectively as possible to contain Russia, and same time, to contain and to conduct the dialogue with Russia. This is really the hardest challenge that the West political community has ever faced since the end of the Cold War.
Absolutely, and it is a difficult situation, and dialogue must continue, of course. I wonder, Mr. Kipiani, if we can just take a moment to think about what's happening with Alexei Navalny. As you know, he's been hospitalized after being on hunger strike now for going on for 2 weeks. Is there a danger here that the Kremlin are going to make a martyr out of this man? And that's surely not something they actually want to happen, is it?
Frankly speaking, what's happening with Navalny beyond any limits of political discussions. This is so much inhuman, so much brutal, I would say. That's indeed, picking up nice words for the sort of, bringing any the balanced connotations into our discussions. It's really the hardest challenge for any normal human being, I would say.
Absolutely. Okay, Victor Kipiani, we have to leave it there. From the think tank Geocase in Tbilisi, thanks for your analysis, sir.